Joe, just wanted to let you know that this tape was put together in Arlington. A few of us wanted to say some good things about you and some bad things and some so-so things. And unfortunately, we were unable to attend your retirement party. And this is the best thing that we can do is kind of share our thoughts on a video, which you'll be able to treasure forever after your retirement night. So again, I hope you're having a good time there. I hope it's not too cold. And if it is, I'm glad that it's you and not us down here. So take care and enjoy it. Now, the first person who's going to speak is David Iverson.
Only about 150 miles from the greatest football factory in the world, the Oklahoma Sooners. What I wanted to say was, first of all, again, I think it's great that you have a chance to retire now and really enjoy things, and hopefully you're going to do lots of traveling and really see all parts of the country. And of course, obviously, if you come through here, please come by and see us. And if you're close to Oklahoma, just give me a call, and I'll make sure you'll see some of the greatest football ever to hit the face of the earth. And that's really what I want to kind of talk about. I want, in your retirement, there's a couple of things that hopefully you'll take some time to research history. I know you're a big sports fan and you know your sports pretty well, not well enough because it's too much Eastern tainted. But what I wanted to say was that when you're doing your research and everything, you'll come across, and as you and I have talked about this many times, who the greatest football coach in the world is. And you never pronounced his name correctly. It was Barry Switzer, not Schweitzer. You never got that correct. And you kept trying to compare him to Joe Paterno, which there was a good sign that you needed to retire right off the bat on trying to analyze that. But just to let you know, please go back to your time off and what you're going to have and go through your research and recognize that, and from a sports standpoint, the greatest football coach ever has been Barry Switzer, only coach ever to win 3 national titles and a Super Bowl. Okay, Joe? I know you'll work on that. And the second thing I want you to really work on is eating establishments. One of the greatest pleasures I had when I was coming up there, and we'd all have those meetings and everything, was you picking places to go eat. And I thought, boy, we would see some high-class level restaurants in the Hartford or Southington area. I do think you need to do a little bit, again, research on picking some of these restaurants, and not these little places that have rooms in the back with seedy little tables and things are going across the line, clothing's going across in front of us and stuff like that. And we're supposed to be drinking beer and having these little teeny sandwiches and really enjoying ourselves. So please, try to upgrade everybody around on where you eat. And I think if you do those two things, you'll have the most peaceful, smooth retirement that anybody could have. On a serious note, Joe, I really enjoyed working with you very, very much, especially when I was in Tampa, and just all the analysis work you did for us and all the stuff.
Well, the Buccaneers definitely got...
Hello, Mr. Kiefer. This is Frank Ostrowski. I'm sitting here under duress from Mr. Jose Valdez. I was told to say things witty and cute, and I really can't think of any. I just wanted to make sure that my voice and my best wishes were not left out of your retirement event. There are some people who will miss you, and then there's me, but no, obviously I will miss you, and you know it. We haven't worked together that many years, although we have been at J&J a lot of years. The only element of resentment I have about your leaving is since you are the senior citizen of the finance division, that needs us looking for someone else to fill that role, and I'm afraid that I might be in the running. At any rate, take your time, live a long time, get a big payout out of the retirement fund, because J&J can certainly afford it, and you certainly deserve it. And I hope you and your wife have a very, very enjoyable retirement and a long life. Goodbye, Joe.
Hey Joe, remember me? Uncle Joe here. I know you decided to call quit. Good for you. Now that make me the number one, I will take away spot, will become the oldest Jericho people still with the company. I remember you when you stay in the Jericho lab, nice young guy, dark hair, 6 foot tall. Now look at you, you really ready to go to the sunset. Well, anyway, I'm the number one, and you'll be going out the sunset. Make me feel like almost getting close to you too. I really enjoy working with you, all the naughty CAR, all the good old work, and all the financial help you did when I was in Southampton. And I want to take this opportunity to wish you best luck. And if you are looking for sunset, come on down to Texas, Dallas. The sunset is good. Okay, take care. Bye.
Hello, Joe Kiefer. This is your good buddy Vince Ferguson from Criticon, the other Criticon here in sunny Tampa, Florida. And perhaps you don't remember me, so my picture is there with my current girlfriend. And as you can see, life is pretty good and quite exciting here in Florida, even without you. Interesting in that you and I think, are two of the last of the original Criticon financial management guys. I don't know what that means. I guess it just means we were able to hold on longer than some of the others. But in any case, we're still here, and I wanted to phone in and offer you my congratulations on your retirement, and say that I wish I were joining you, not literally joining you. Wife might object to that, but joining you in retirement. Gosh, when I think back about Joe Kiefer, what do I think about? I guess I remember those mornings in Pete Casey's office, since there was a fair amount of telephone time between you and Pete. I think you received a lot more phone calls than you probably wanted to get. But anyway, I was present in Pete's office many of those times, and it always struck me that I wasn't quite sure who was trying to convince who of some harebrained scheme, but certainly Pete was always trying to convince you of something, and the same was true in reverse. And well, I just I often wonder how you managed to live through all of that, because it was driving me crazy at times just listening to Pete go on and on, trying to convince you of some crazy idea. So anyway, that's one of the things I remember. And of course, I don't think we want to get into the slippery nipples, but whenever I think of Joe Kiefer, hard to remember Joe without slippery nipples falling into the occasion there somehow. Anyway, I just wanted to take a minute to call and wish you the best. You're a great guy. It was a joy working with you, and it was also nice to have somebody else for Pete to deal with, to keep him out of my hair at times, and that was a good thing. Take care. Congratulations. All the best. And I look forward to seeing you again one of these days. Stop by if you're in sunny Tampa.
Hi, I'm John Loisel at JJMI in Arlington. And Jose came to me and told me that, hey guys, we need to make a video because of the retirement of Joe Kiefer and everything like that. And I was trying to think about my relationship with Joe, and actually it goes back a lot further than most of you guys are aware. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to tell you about an earlier phase in Joe's life. You see, I'm a military brat. I grew up my father was in the Air Force, and we spent most of our time overseas in the 60s. And I grew up at a military air base in Yokota, Japan. And back in the 60s, my dad, at the base, all of us kids we lived on base housing and all that. And all the other Air Force guys, all the young Air Force stud guys used to come over to the house all the time. Well, there was this one guy named Joe Kiefer that was in the group that was in my father's squadron. And the guys used to come over on weekends. My dad tried to, keep him on the base, and he'd invite him over to the house to keep him out of trouble. Because you know how wild young Air Force guys get on a foreign base with all the local native girls and everything. So he used to invite him over, and Joe Kiefer was the expert at making the slippery nipples. So all the guys liked him for that. And he came over quite a bit. He became almost like a fixture around the house. And then, I think it was in the mid-60s, maybe 66, 67, somewhere in there, Joe disappeared. It was real hush-hush, but there was some type of incident, and I don't know exactly what it was because I was just a kid at the time, but it's like he completely vanished off the face of the earth. Well, lo and behold, we came back to the States later, and I finished school, and I started working for J&J, started at Ethicon, and then patient care, and then medical. And then we merged with this company called Criticon. And there's this guy up in Southington named Joe Kiefer. I said, that can't be the same Joe Kiefer. But it was. And so, after the incident, I guess they put him in the witness relocation program. I'm surprised they didn't change his name, but he still calls himself Joe Kiefer, and he's the guy that was involved in the incident. And he and about 3 other guys that disappeared, I finally found them all. But now he was the financial guy up in Southington, hidden way out in the country in Connecticut. And so, Joe, you probably ought to tell the folks and maybe your family what happened with the incident. I never found out because I was just a kid at the time. And I'm sure it's classified information, but with the Freedom of Information Act, the record's probably open by now. So you can go ahead and share that with the rest of us. We'd really like to know what happened with you. But anyway, that aside, I wanted to wish you a happy retirement. Many of us envy you. Since you're so much older than I am and all the rest of us, well, except Frank. Frank's pretty old. I hope that you enjoy your retirement, play some golf, and take some time to be with your family. So, see you later. Godspeed.
Hi, Joe Kiefer, Wiley Green here. Just stopped in to do a little bit of a video. Supposed to do it with Jerry Kovalik, but Kovalik had a choice of either doing a video for Joe Kiefer or going to some strange Asian countries. So, needless to say, he's in Asia as we speak, but he does wish you well, and he sends his best to you. I just wanted to wish you best of luck. Have fun as you go forward in your retirement. And I thought of a few memories. And in fact, the first time I ever met you, Joe, was at an off-site finance meeting at Disney World. That's kind of strange in itself that finance actually had good off-site meetings with golf and everything, but different budgets back in those days, and things have changed, but we did have some good time. But the first time I ever remember meeting you was at Walt Disney World, and Jose Valdez had arranged for dinner at the Whoop-de-Doo Cafe. And here we are with 400 5-year-olds, a couple of Disney characters, and the Criticon Finance Group. Needless to say, it was a long evening, and had it not been for you and 4 or 5 rounds of slippery nipples, I don't know that we'd have ever made it through. Anyway, that's just my first memory of meeting you. I remember also asking you for directions once in Southington, and I wanted to get to New York City, and you said, well, I always go watch the Yankees play. Here's the best and quickest directions to New York City. And so I followed them to the letter of the law, and I knew when the road sign said, welcome to West Virginia, somehow either you had made a mistake or I had made a mistake. So in your retirement, why don't you work on your directions a little bit, and we'll go from there. And the third thing I always remember were a few of those casino trips up in Southington and getting together with a car full of guys and going down and having a great evening and lots of fun. And as I think about this and the more I talk, I remember you for a lot of things, Joe, but none of them had to do with work. So hopefully you're well practiced for retirement. You'll be able to take all of this great stuff and do what you're the best. And if we can ever do anything for you here, never hesitate to call. Take care, Joe.
Hey Joe, this is Jose Valdez here in Arlington. I hope you're having a great time at your retirement party with your family and many friends there in Southington. I'd like to talk about a few things, and the first item on the agenda is that for all of you there, didn't realize this, but Joe Kiefer, he's really Cuban. He is from Cuba. Matter of fact, his real name is Jose Pedro Carlos Jorge Martinez Rodriguez Delgado Kiefirundo III, or we used to call him Pepe el Loco. Yes, he used to live down the street from me in Cuba, and obviously I was very young. Matter of fact, I think Joe was in his late teens, and I was just barely 5 or 6 or 7 years old, very young, and all of a sudden, Joe disappeared. no one could find Joe. There were many rumors. One of the rumors was that he was working for the CIA and that he had been reassigned. But nonetheless, no one was able to figure out what happened to Joe. Well, a few years went by, and I came to the United States with my mother and my sister, and we relocated to New Jersey, matter of fact, in Hoboken, Union City area. I went to school up there, went to Seton Hall, graduated from Seton Hall, and eventually moved down to Tampa. In 1980, I was hired by Criticon, a Johnson & Johnson company, and sure enough, I had to make a phone call to Southington, Connecticut, and this guy answers the phone on the other end, and all of a sudden, the voice sounded very familiar. Matter of fact, I said to myself, caramba, could this be Pepe El Loco? And sure enough, it was Joe Kiefer. And Joe, you may not remember this phone call because obviously you're a little older than me, and one of the first things to go in old age is your memory. So, among other things, of course, but memory is the thing that goes. But we had a conversation where you told me that actually what had happened was that you were trying to get away from Cuba because Castro obviously was communist, and you became the first person to leave Cuba on a inner tube, and you were heading towards Miami Beach, but everyone knows that you have no sense of direction whatsoever, and you ended up at the Jersey Shore. And that's how you came about going to Rutgers, graduating from Rutgers, and then eventually getting a job with Johnson & Johnson and ending up in Southington, Connecticut. So again, that's the story and that's the truth. Now, another thing that I like to point out is that Joe is, when you mention his name, many people say reliable, people say you can depend on him, good friend, good advisor, knows his stuff. But whenever someone mentions Joe Kiefer's name, the first thing that comes to mind with me is the luau, the 1980 Criticon luau. Joe, if you recall, that was at Clearwater Beach, at that hotel with a Hawaiian type or Caribbean type of atmosphere, and we had a great time that night. The first time the finance got together from all the locations, from all the companies that were put together to form Criticon. So a lot of great memories. Joe, in all seriousness, I'd like to wish you the best in your retirement. Hope you have a great time, not do anything, or in other words, just keep doing what you were doing while you were working for Johnson & Johnson Medical, which was nothing. So we just continue to do that and definitely enjoy your family. And again, best of luck. Oh, wait. One more thing. As you know, you are a UConn fan, and I'm a Seton Hall fan because I went to Seton Hall. Not like you went to Rutgers, but you root for UConn, but that's another story. And this past Sunday, Seton Hall played UConn, and Seton Hall lost, but they lost by 10 points. Now, the point spread in the paper was 13 points, which means that, in essence, Seton Hall won, and we have a standing bet of $5. So before you leave Friday, what I would like you to do is to take a $5 bill, stick it in an intercompany envelope, and make sure it gets down to me, and that way I'll be able to have some spending money this weekend, and believe me, I'll remember you when I spend that $5 bill. So again, good luck and take care.